After a few weeks, the interview was duly printed and circulated, and it made headlines. As I hunted down a copy of The Times in which Ruth Gledhill had broken the story, I tried to remember what Elton had said that was in any way controversial, shocking, or factually untrue. When I found a copy of the article, I saw they had plucked out Elton's comments on how, in his opinion, the BBC would allow jokes about vicars to pass, but not jokes about imams. He said things were so bad that it was difficult to use even common sayings while writing and rehearsing a sitcom. I wanted to use the phrase, Muhammad came to the mountain, and everybody said, oh, don't go there. It was nothing to do with Islam. I was merely referring to the old proverb, if the mountain won't come to Muhammad, Muhammad must go to the mountain. And people said, let's just not, it's incredible. Was the BBC afraid of Islam? Ben Elton was unavailable for comment, having already returned to Australia, where he lives for at least part of the year. So the journalist responsible for the original article was dredged up and summoned to the Newsnight studio. This was, I have to admit, rather exciting, as I found myself sitting opposite Jeremy Paxman, along with some other comedians discussing the issues around comedy, religion, and offence. I did not feel the need to agree with or defend Elton's comments, although neither did I want to say that I felt his comments were inappropriate or untrue. This all rumbled on for another 24 hours and went global. I took part in a BBC World Service phone-in show called World Have Your Say, which included in its panel Anjem Choudary, subsequently imprisoned in HMP Belmarsh for inciting people to join ISIS. He was at pains to point out that he and his wife had a good sense of humour. The next day, almost as quickly as it erupted, the storm blew itself out. I decided that proper journalism wasn't for me. Ship of Fools. I should not have been surprised at the furore about religion and comedy. A couple of years earlier, I had unwittingly found myself in the press through a subversive Christian comedy website called Ship of Fools. They were running a competition trying to find the best but also the most offensive religious jokes. The top 10 of each kind were to be read out at the Greenbelt Festival, a large Christian arts festival, think Latitude with a few prayers and dog collars. Having been involved in the festival for a few years, and as someone with an interest in this area, I agreed to be involved and read some of these jokes out. When I saw the jokes, however, I was astonished at how imaginatively offensive they were. I'm reluctant even to say them here, and have managed to almost blot them from my memory. But to give you a flavour, there were jokes that somehow sexualised Christ's wounds. I was scandalised. Not only could I not read the jokes out, I felt I couldn't even be in the same tent as they were being read out. In a very slow week during silly season, this was also deemed worthy of being reported in a national newspaper. This came hot on the heels of the Jerry Springer The Opera debacle, in which Jesus Christ was portrayed as being an adult in a nappy and saying that sometimes he felt a bit gay, all bathed in impressive levels of swearing. We look at this show later in this book. All of the above was several years PT, pre-Twitter. Recent experience shows that, far from enabling discussion of the issues among friends in a dispassionate way, social media has polarised opinions. It has fanned the flames of dissent and turned moral outrage into a performance art, ironically, which must not be questioned or critiqued. The need to discuss issues surrounding religion, comedy and offence have never been more pressing. We live in a world in which the staff of Charlie Hebdo were brazenly shot dead in broad daylight for the production of satirical cartoons. At the same time, social media, rolling news, and the need for compelling clickbait have all made that discussion even harder to conduct in a rational, constructive, or good-humoured way. Where's your sense of humour? We think, rightly, that having a sense of humour is incredibly important. We Brits especially pride ourselves on having a sense of humour. We consider it essential that someone can take a joke. Dating profiles often specify a GSOH, good sense of humour. We are suspicious of politicians who seem to be overly serious, and we are quick to give a free pass to those who joke around. At weddings, we think it important to take the time to humiliate the bridegroom with a dirt-dishing best man speech. The groom has to just sit there and take